cycling has come a long way since those first early days, but cycling remains one of the most diverse and popular sports in the UK. In this episode, we'll be looking at mountain biking in Boys Brigade, why we should do it, where we can get access, and how we go about doing it. So first of all, why does mountain biking lend itself to your company's programme? Here's Miles Fuller, Active Schools Coordinator in Inverness.
Fantastic fun, it's free, you can get out there and do it at any time. You don't need a lot of specialist equipment other than, of course, your mountain bike. It's also perfect for cardiorespiratory improvement. We've seen a lot of changes in children over the years with just doing a lot of mountain biking. Because the Scottish Cycle Training Scheme is delivered in all schools, or pretty much all schools, so children are getting a basic grounding in skills. Most children bring a mountain bike to those sessions, and which is why it seems ideal to run mountain bike clubs, because it's harnessing their enthusiasm and skills that they've already learned and taking them out into the countryside and enjoying it. But we found that lots of adults as well enjoy getting muddy and wet and filthy, which is great as an adult to be able to do, and the children enjoying that as well.
Now, biking is going to help your members fulfill their award structure, both recreation and skills, within your company program. Now, injecting the adventure of mountain biking into your Duke of Edinburgh or Queen's Badge expeditions is going to bring unique memories to both you as a leader and also your members. Now, here's just one example of where you can go. This is the Darver Way. It's 24 miles in length and stretches in the east behind me from Forres on the Moray Firth Trail all the way through to Granton-on-Spey on the Spey Way behind you in the west. It winds its way through some of the stunning farmland and woodland and moorland, which makes it one of Scotland's best long distance walking and off-road cycle trails. Now, before we go out and hit the trails, there's some issues that we need to cover first. Now, you'll be familiar with this. This is the Boys Brigade Safety Handbook. It's your fundamental responsibility to make sure that everybody who's leading a group is familiar with the contents of this handbook. Now, if you haven't had a look inside here since your YLT course or your KG6 course, then brush off the dust, give it a read before you go out on the trail. Risk assessment. Mountain biking is adventurous, and as such your members are going to engage in the countryside at all sorts of levels. Now, the Department of Children, Schools and Families have put together these 5 simple points for putting together a risk assessment, and they are this. What are the hazards? Who might be affected by them? Thirdly, what safety measures need to be put in place to bring those risks down to an acceptable level? Can the officer in charge put those safety measures into place? And finally, what would you do in the event of emergency? In Scotland, we're blessed by having a very liberal countryside access code, but we still have responsibilities.
There's now a new law in Scotland that gives everyone greater rights of access to enjoy the outdoors. And you can exercise these rights over most land and inland water in the country. But with these rights come responsibilities. And that's why you need to know about the new Scottish Outdoor Access Code. In it, you'll discover exactly what rights and responsibilities you do have. For more details, visit outdooraccess-scotland.com and know the code before you go.
Now here's Forestry Commission Scotland's Carl Bartlett from Glentress with some brilliant safety tips and advice for when you turn up to a trail centre.
So here we are at Scotland's premier mountain bike destination, Glentress, and we're looking now at making sure about some of the things we want to think about before you bring a bike to a place like Glentress. Firstly, we're looking at making sure we've got the right bike for the right job. Free ride bike, free ride area. Just looking at the gear for the job, so we've got helmet, gloves, knee pads, good shoes, good grip, right trousers, comfortable wear, ideal for the job. Before you go for a ride on the trail, it's really important that you take the right sort of gear with you. So let's have a just check in the rucksack here, see what we've got. Spare tube, food, we could be out for a long ride, tyre levers, tools, make sure you've got the right tools to do all the jobs you might need to do on the trail. Waterproof, weather can change quite quickly. Pump, really important. First aid kit, too many of us forget that. Phone, really important for getting in contact with folk. Medication, anything that you might need to take, inhaler. And of course in Scotland, suntan cream. Okay, when you come to any trail riding centre, it's really important that you know what you're about to tackle and what you're taking on before you go out for a ride. So most of our centres have maps, so study the map, get to know where you're going on the trail, and look for the grading information. Make sure you're riding on a trail you feel comfortable with. This will give you some clues. Free ride areas and jump spots have special information that is really worth paying attention to. It'll give you an idea of the size and scale of the features that you're about to ride over, so come up close and have a good read of what's out there.
So here we are at Glentress Skills Loop. You'll find skills areas at all the mountain bike centres across Scotland, and they're a great place to come if you're new to mountain biking, you come practice and learn the skills you need specifically for mountain biking before you head out onto the trails proper. It's a bit like skiing. You wouldn't go out onto a ski slope without having actually tried and learned and practiced the skills before you go out, and it's the same for mountain biking. So Skills Loop's a great place to do that. We've got different features and they've all got little interpretation panels so you can read on how to do the skill and practice.
If you're new to a centre, don't always assume you can take on what's ahead of you. Look before you leap, walk the trail and see what's ahead. In the forest, on the trail of the forest, expect the unexpected. So forests are for us all to enjoy. Respect other users and let's live and let live.
Now one of the obstacles that you'll face as a leader is having the confidence to take your boys out if you've not done a lot of mountain biking. Here's Simon Harry explaining how we can go about getting that confidence to take boys out into the countryside or a trail centre and doing it through a qualification called Trail Cycle Leadership, TCL.
It's basically through some form of qualification, and we run Trail Cycle Leader TCL courses up here. Basically the main thing about the Trail Cycle Leader course, it's an achievable course for practically everybody that undertakes it, just because of the level it's aimed at. You have the TCL, Trail Cycle Leader, and the MBL if you want to go up that next level and go to more sort of, not so much expedition, but further afield where, you know, you're not within 30 minutes of a road, that type of thing. But for the majority of folk, it's the TCL, the Trail Cycle Leader course, that is the one that will give folk the confidence to just come out and take folk out on these trails. Because the thing is, the majority of these trails, the way that they're set up is the path's there for you, you know, it's just giving people the basic skills to enable them to get around that path and to get that front wheel over things. Very easy, you know. So, years ago, there were no trail centres. Single track, the term single track comes from the fact that people used to go out on single track and find their own routes. Look at map, see where they were heading, and just go and give it a go. And that's how mountain biking evolved. Part of the course, the Trail Cycle Leader course, is all about looking at maps, basic map reading, and finding out where you can lead your groups within the parameters of the TCL. So it's not all about trying to find routes that take you miles into the Cairngorms. It's all about finding routes that are achievable for your group. So again, that's why I'm extolling the virtues of the TCL, because it allows you to do a lot of trail finding and looking at seeing what sort of is achievable within the sort of parameters, the parameters of the TCL. You know, we live in the Scottish Highlands, you know, there's stuff everywhere. It's just having that confidence to look at a map and think, ooh, I can actually take my group from here to here without too much, you know. Also, obviously, I'd recommend that anybody, before you take in any group out, will, you know, you survey the route first, you know, and I always, whenever we take groups out, before I go anywhere near it with a group, I'll always go and recce the trail beforehand, you know. But there's websites, you know, Scottish Cycling, Forestry Commission, SNH, for instance. They've got information as to where you can ride.
Now, another great resource for your route planning is the National Cycle Network, or the NCN. It's run by Sustrans, the National Cycle Charity. You'll probably recognise these signs. They will give you the route number for the network that's around you, and they crisscross the whole of the UK. And they're a great resource. They cover canal towpaths, country parks, woodlands, and quiet back roads. Here's some thoughts and memories from some children about their National Cycle Network, their NCN.
I like the National Cycle Network. It's really cool because there's lots of trees and there's lots of nests on it, and it's a really cool bird watching place.
It's my NCN because this is the first place I learned to ride a bike.
It's my NCN because this is the first place I come to play with my friends.
Last time I came here, I climbed so I could see the cathedral. It's my NCN because when I was a baby, my mum always used to push me around in a pram down here. I like spotting birds in different trees.
It's our NCN because we come this way to go to the library, and it's really adventurous.
So last time I was here, I was with my friends and we kept on making swings on the trees.
Oh, my favourite memory is here when we made this film.
Now, I realise that not every company are going to have staff able to take your boys out on this type of activity. But why not get in touch with a local club or an instructor? They'd be delighted to hear from you, and they'll have loads of advice and help and thoughts about how you can introduce boys to mountain biking, or get involved, or come to you. The next challenge you'll face will probably be cost. Whatever your expenditure is, and whatever the financial commitment to get your boys out into the countryside, here's Bill Stevenson, Director BB Scotland, with some good news.
Cashback is a small grant scheme that's funded by the Scottish Government using proceeds of crime money. BB companies across Scotland can apply for grants of up to £2,000, and they can use that for different activities or to buy new equipment. So far in the BB in Scotland, we've actually managed to give away about £75,000 worth of grants to companies all over Scotland. So if you're interested in biking and you want to perhaps look at funding for instructors, equipment hire, or possibly even buy some new bikes, get your application forms in soon.
Mountain biking is an all year round sport, and the dark winter evenings and the shorter days of that time don't lend themselves easily to the company nights. However, maintenance classes do, and they provide an obvious source of personal skills and get the riders prepared for safe cycling.
Are you ready? On your mark.
Why mountain biking is a good sport to include in your company's program. We've looked at how to go about it and also where to gain access to the countryside. So it just remains to get on your bike. I'll leave you in the care of the 2nd Fort William and the 1st Culloden boys. I'll see you on the trail. Goodbye.
Very adventurous. Great. Absolutely amazing.
Good luck. Really fun.
Good.
Very excited. Really fun.
Really fun.
The shiz.
Do what?
The shiz.
The shiz, I don't know what that means.
Insane. Super speed.
Super speed.
Pretty fast.
Alright.